So I'm going to show you how to choose between the voltage options, or give you some tips for choosing between the voltage options on this Tongshan TSDZ2 mid-drive. So with this particular mid-drive, it comes in voltage already set configuration. So you have to do some thinking about which one you want to order before you order it. And so I'm just going to use some of my own data that I've used to kind of help you make this decision a little bit. So the main choices you have are 36 volts or 48 volts. And then when you get to 48 volts, there's also 500 watt or 750 watt. In my opinion, especially with the torque sensing mid-drive like this, the the most common use scenario, which is going to be pedaling, you aren't going to see a ton of difference. Really, when you're going to start to see that difference between the voltages is when you're doing a lot of hills. If you're going to try to ride throttle only, which really with the mid-drive isn't really the best option. And also if you're maybe a little heavier rider, you can benefit a little bit from the extra voltage. And the voltage actually gives you a little more, as you'll see by the graph here, it gives you a little more performance jump from 36 volts to 48 volts than really that 500 watt to 750 watt category. So you get a little more efficiency at 36 volts, so potentially more range with the same amount of battery capacity. But if you need a little bit more performance, and the voltage increase, even from at the same wattage, is going to be significant. So if you need some hill climbing, if you want to do a little higher top speeds, probably going with 48 volts is the way to go. And if you really want a lot of speed, bumping up to 52 volts, because as you go in, you just get more, voltage is like the pushing power, more or less. And so you just get more push. You get a little more oomph with each of those. So I'm trying the 48 volt 750 watt version right now. I've also tried the 500 watt version before, so I'll be comparing those. So going between, I previously had the 500 watt version, and then this was most recent one was the 750 watt version. I would probably go with the 500 watt version again. If you look at the graph, the acceleration was basically the same. So there wasn't I didn't notice any sort of performance improvement between the 750 watt motor. And I think that might be, from what I've read, is it actually wasn't mechanically any different. It was just a different programming. And still it was very limited by the amount of amps of output that you could actually, that the controller was kicking out. The other ironic thing is the 500 watt version was almost twice as efficient. Like I had so much higher efficiency so it was like not using as much power, just as powerful feeling. So for me, the 500 watt version worked better. Now I've heard some comments, seen some comments about the TSDZ8. I'll throw a picture up here, maybe, why not? And it sounds like it's addressed a lot of the problems. Like there's some cooling fins on the bike now. There's some improvements, and it's supposed to be a lot more like a Bafang BBS02 in terms of its power characteristics. So if you are a supplier of a Tongshan TSDZ8 and would like me to review one, reach out to me. I don't feel like buying one. So yeah, that was my honest opinion on this Tongshan mid-drive. I mean, it lasted 1,000 miles, but it was definitely showing its age, and it just wasn't what I hoped it would be.